I don't recall who it was. It may have been my supervisor or another one of the agents had informed me that there were some federal arrest warrants for Mr. Davidson, and he had been apprehended by the Knoxville Police Department. I was aware of that, and they requested that I proceed to the Knoxville Police Department where Mr. Davidson was being taken after being arrested to participate in the interview.
And did you in fact do that?
Yes, I did.
When you arrived at the police department, who was there?
A number of the investigators with KPD, and Mr. Davidson was in an interview room.
What did you notice about Mr. Davidson, his appearance?
Mr. Davidson was in a white T-shirt and either baggy blue jeans or baggy blue short or slacks.
Did he have on any shoes?
No, he did not.
Did you notice any injuries or anything to his face?
No.
Who was in the interview room with you?
Investigator Flores and Mr. Davidson.
And Investigator Flores, is he with the Knoxville Police Department?
Yes, he is.
And were you in the room for the entire interview?
Yes.
What did Mr. Davidson tell you to happen?
He started off the interview. He denied being present at his house for any of the activities that took place there. He told us that he had left his house Friday. As the interview progressed, his story changed. He said that he had spoken to his brother, and he was aware that there had been a carjacking, but he had never seen the victims. And then the story changed again to where he was at the house when his brother and George Thomas arrived with the victim's 4Runner, and that he had seen the victims in the back of the 4Runner, and then he had left. And then the story changed, I believe, again. And he was there when the victims arrived with his brother and George Thomas. And when I say his brother, I'm referring to Latalis Collins. That he spoke to his brother about what his brother had done, and he told us that his brother and George Thomas had left with the 4Runner and returned about 20 minutes later with the female victim. The female victim entered his house, and he had contact with her when she entered the house, but then he had left. And then his story changed again to where the Cobbins and Thomas arrived with the 4Runner and came back with the female victim, and he had further interaction with her in the house, and then he left again.
Was he asked whether or not he had sex with the female victim?
Yes, he was.
And what was his response?
No.
Was he asked whether or not his DNA would be on the female victim?
Yes, he was.
And what was his response?
He did not think so.
And again, was he asked whether or not he knew the victims?
Yes.
And what was his response?
He had never seen the victims before in his life.
Was he asked pointedly whether or not they were over at the house to buy dope?
Yes.
And what was his response?
No.